You have just tuned into the Drop Zone. Drop Zone.
With your host, Felicia Shaw, owner and CEO of The Support Room, and David Wilborn, owner and CEO of D&L Security. Hunker down and get ready for a great drop.
Hey, everybody. This is your girl, Felicia Shaw, and you are tuned in to another great edition of the Drop Zone. Hey, to my left is none other than my partner in crime. My right hand is Mr. Ooh Yeah himself, Dave Wilborn.
Yeah, what's going on?
What's happening, Dave? Listen, y'all, it's going to be a bananas, ridiculous, just outright crazy show today. We have got a special guest that's joining us today, and when I tell you she has a powerful testimony, you have got to tune in the entire show. We're going to go ahead and get the phone number dropped in the feed and get the phone number up on our visuals so that you guys can call in if you have questions. But this is the one you want to be tuned in to the very end today. Hey, but before we get started, we got some stuff on the calendar we got to tell you about. Go ahead, shoot them to them, Dave.
Listen, coming up real soon in July, I have another CPL class. Listen, the one that we just had.
Oh my God.
Saturday.
Yes.
Saturday.
What does Saturday mean?
That means the day after Friday.
Oh, that's Saturday.
The day before Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Listen, when I tell you that classroom has so many jokers in it.
Listen, we was from wall to wall. We was actually we were over capacity.
So what happened was people. So I have it limited. So drops off of the website, and that's it. You can't register anymore. So people tried to register and just figured they would just come through. So
yes.
I had about a good hot dog. Won't he do it?
Yeah.
That's
we just had a blessing drop in the house.
Yeah. So I had people that just said skip it, and they just showed up.
Yes.
So we literally had wall to wall people. But listen, we had fun. We kept it hyped the entire time. Everybody was good. Everybody was engaged as always. So listen, check it out, July 23rd.
Yes.
Please make sure you go to dlsecurity.org. And listen, we shut the range down too.
Yeah. Everybody.
Everybody came to the range. Everybody came to the range. So we shut the range down. We had a good time. Everybody shot well. Some of y'all need to come back and see us. We told you who you were, but you okay with us. So make sure you go on and log on to dlsecurity.org and make sure you register for the next upcoming CPL class.
It's going to be bananas, y'all. It was absolutely fantastic. It was so much fun. Listen, we had couples in there. We had father and son in there. And it was just bananas. And I had not been in the range since my eye surgery. So I was so excited to get back in the range. And I think I did pretty good.
Listen. She was too hyped. She shot all grouped up right down center mass. I said, girl, get out of here.
Center mass, y'all.
Center mass. Listen.
With one eye.
Listen, I'm going to tell y'all about the class. Listen, we had one gentleman. He took the class the month before, right? The next one, his fiance was in this last class. He just wanted to come and be in the class because he had such a good time in the class that he took.
Yeah.
So normally I don't allow sit-ins, but if you an alumni, I'll let you come. But if somebody comes that's paid, you have to give up that chair.
Yeah.
So he went and sat in my office.
We put him to work too.
Yeah, but he ended up being the videographer and photographer for that day.
Yeah.
So he earned his spot.
Listen, if you have not yet attended one of our classes, go on over to dlsecurity.org, click classes and events, hit the flyer for July 23rd, and go ahead and register. It's going to cost you $10 to register. If you do not pay $10, then you have not registered. You have not reserved your seat. So just repeat that process until that $10 has been accepted. Then you know you got a spot. You got a seat, and nobody can take that from you, all right? Because it is going to be bananas. When I tell you the classes are filling up just like our classes on Mondays.
Yes,
on Mondays,
yes.
the support room hosts a class every single Monday. The support room is a platform that is geared to support and help people cope with trauma, okay? We deal with all forms of trauma, domestic abuse, rape. We deal with gender issues. We deal with, you name it, really. Anything that a person can possibly be struggling with, we are there to support you. We also have a 24-hour crisis hotline, 24-hour crisis hotline. Get to a phone and get some help if you are struggling, if you're in a domestic violence situation. Get to the phone, 248-383-5717. 248-383-5717. Every single Monday night at our training center, meet the support room, and all of our participants meet us over there at the training center. We normally discuss topics there. We feed you. We have some food for you. And then we get down to the nitty gritty, because that is the place where the healing begins. So we get you talking, and we go through all the things that we need to go through to help you get started. Listen, we got some great sponsors that help hold us down and that help hold the drop zone down every single week. My partner's going to run them down to you real quick to tell you who's got our back.
Listen, before we get into that, I just want to speak one more time on the support room. Listen, it got so deep Monday.
Yeah.
It went left, not in a bad way.
Yeah.
It went left in a good way. And you know, we don't broadcast people's, situations, because we're bound by HIPAA to keep our mouths closed, and we do just that. But we want you to know that it got really deep Monday. Somebody got help Monday.
Yeah.
Somebody had to get something off their chest, and we allowed it to happen, and it was a blessing.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we got people that rock with the Drop Zone, and we love them, and we thank you for rocking with the Drop Zone. So we got WCVG Cincinnati, Kentucky. We love you. That is 103.9 FM and also 1320 AM Cincinnati, Kentucky. We love you for rocking with the Drop Zone. We also have City Buzz Radio, citybuzz.com, Phoenix, Arizona. Last but not least, when I promise you we on the way, if I ain't never lied, I ain't lying now. We on the way. RTN, Rainbow Television Network, 3.9 million in your face. We gonna be in your face because we made for the TV. We coming to you real soon. And also, last but not least, right here at home, right here in the city of Southfield, simplypodcasting.com.
Yeah, simplypodcasting.com. And we give big shouts out to our engineer that's on the ones and twos. It's Mr. Dro himself. What's happening, Dro? He's busy working. We got him working today. Y'all hear all those effects.
If you notice when he did the Drop Zone flyer, that's engineering.
That's engineering.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. He working it out for us today, y'all. He holding it down. Hey, as I told you, we have a great show in store for you all today. We have a special guest with us. Her name is Miss Matoya Jones. Miss Matoya Jones. And I was so privileged to meet her just recently, and I was hearing of her testimony and her story, and I said, you know what, we have got to put that in the ears of the Drop Zone listeners, because this is what we do. The platform for the Drop Zone is one that aid and assists in the support and care for people that suffer from domestic violence and sexual assault. I'm talking about men, women, and children. Men, women, and children. And so her story is so powerful that we would have been remiss not to bring her into this setting and allow her to share some things that she's been through. So Drop Zonians, go ahead and welcome Miss Matoya Jones to the Drop Zone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Yes.
We good.
We are doing good. How are you doing?
I'm okay today.
Yes, yeah. She got that little nervous tick going on in case.
I'm gonna need you to. I'm gonna need you to be still
she
in that,
making
in
her
that chair.
dizzy, y'all. She's swinging in her chair, y'all. She a little nervous. To our viewers, y'all can see her, but to our listeners, yeah, we put a stopper on her chair so she can't spin now. But I would definitely feel the overwhelming feeling that she felt, that she's feeling if I was in her shoes right now, because she has something very important to share with our listeners today. And
so real quick before we get into that,
yes,
listen, if you on my personal page, if you on Miss Felicia Shaw's personal Facebook page, we want you all to hear this testimony. We really want you all to hear it,
yes,
in all its due diligence, if you will. So please log on to the DropZone Facebook page so you can see and hear everything all at the same time. Okay, log off to your personal Facebook pages live and go on to the DropZone Facebook page. We over here waiting on you.
Yeah. Thanks for interjecting that, partner. So the DropZone Facebook page, on our personal pages, you can only see the image of us unless we turn our cameras. But on the actual DropZone page, it's set up and designed for you to be able to view and see the whole show
and talk to us.
And talk to us in its full effect. You get to see all of the participants of the show on screen and on camera. And so, listen, our phone lines are open. Dro, go ahead and give us that number so that people that would want to call in to ask questions to our guests or to us, you are able to do that. 313-266-2811. 313-266-2811. The topic of today's show is I'm a Survivor. I'm a survivor. If I got any survivors out there, just wave your hands. Yeah, I'm a survivor, y'all. And our guest is a survivor as well. So, Miss Matoya, man, thank you so much for being a part of the Drop Zone today. We really are honored to have you here and share your story with us today. So just go ahead and tell us a little bit of why you're here today.
Well, first I want to start off to say I'm not a victim. I'm a victorious. And you have to tell yourself that when you go through that, because the devil, he will try to leave you right in that spot. But one thing about God, he'll bring you out of anything. And first I want to give honor and praise to God, because that's how I made it out the situation. And it's just like I wanted to be the voice, just period, for the youth. And, you know, God just used me to talk to you guys. And I want to say, I just want to start off by saying, I want you guys to tell yourself, like, y'all are enough and y'all matter. And that's very important. Sometimes you feel like you're not enough, but really you too much for the wrong person.
Now, wait a minute, because you dropping some heavy stuff right now.
Oh, yeah, she is. Talk to her.
You too much for the wrong person. Ooh, girl. Listen, I gotta just recap, because y'all may not know what she's talking about. The story, the topic of the show is I'm a survivor, and she is a survivor of domestic abuse. Yep, she had one of them that decided he want to do a little bit of that. Okay, and he picked the wrong person. Because as she said, God just wasn't going to let it go down like that. Okay. And so he made sure that he gave her the strength to get out of the situation. We're not going to tell all the details of this because there's still an ongoing case with this matter. But here is the biggest part of her story. She here. Yep. She is here.
That's the main thing.
And she's sitting right here next to me, flesh and blood, after being a victim of something that happened. She took that and turned it into a victorious situation. So, man, I'm just elated. So we're going to get into an interview about her situation, and you guys are able to ask questions. Go ahead and drop your questions in on the Drop Zone or on podcasting.com, or you can call us. You can call us and ask your questions, or if you just want to encourage her even more, drop those comments and make a phone call. It only takes a second to tell somebody, hey, your story helped me, or hey, what do I need to do in this situation? That's what we're here for, and we're going to get you the help you need. So, Miss Matoya, I just want to ask you, so you were in a situation with a young man, And were there any signs in the beginning that this was a person that suffered from anger issues, or that you ever thought that he would get to the place where he put his hands on you?
I'm going to say no. I never thought he would put his hands on me, but childhood trauma, and that's a topic that a lot of people don't like to speak on. I believe that I had to sit back and I was like, how and why did it happen? Not to question myself, but just to know where it stemmed from. I feel like he had his own issues dealing with seeing his mother go through that like young. So, and it didn't hit me until, because I wanted to speak from my heart. Like, I didn't write nothing down. This is my truth. So, I was like, well, maybe it stemmed from that, and that does not make you right. And I want to say, like, just because you love somebody, that does not mean that they have the same love for you. And when it happened so fast, and I was just so, like, surprised, because without the whole time of being with him, I can honestly say it was never nothing physical. So me ending it, and, like, you just know, like, it's just not right, and you just had enough of certain things. Even when a person is trying to make the situation better, I knew it wasn't right. Like, I would be up and I would ask God, because I seen change, but is it change for him to be a better person, or is it change for us?
Wow.
And it's just like, no matter what he did, it was a feeling that just wasn't right. And I would be, even at work, just up praying. I'm talking about just crying, and nothing would even be going on. I just feel like I'm bigger than this. Like, I couldn't fully be me in that, and that's a problem. Like, I'm going to be me regardless. I don't care who I'm around, whatever, what environment, I want to fully be me. And I feel like that wasn't fair to me. So I didn't go looking for nothing. I just simply was praying, and everything just started coming to me, just revealing who this man was. And I was like, you know what? That's it. I had enough. Like, we've been doing it for years, and nothing, you don't. And I believe in second chances, I'm going to be honest. But when you come back, you can't have stuff. You got to come back, like, you got to adore me, love me, show me I'm her and the only one. And it's like, you can't come back and play or half step or do it when you feel like, it does not work like that, because some people don't get second chances. Yeah. So for me, when I have said I was done so many times, let's just be honest, but when you done, you don't have to, I don't have to text you. I don't have to tell you I'm done.
Right.
I'm going to just be done. My action's going to show that. And he knew that, because it was a situation where I found out like he was doing me wrong. And usually, you know how we get, we want to argue, want to fuss. I'm not doing none of that, because nothing is really surprising to me. So the next day, he ended up seeing me. Well, I'm not going to say he ended up seeing me. I was somewhere, and he ended up pulling up, and it just escalated. Like, he didn't look angry. He looked like his regular self, and that's what makes it scary, because you don't know. People wear masks.
Yeah.
So that's what got, like, it wasn't like a look. It wasn't a rage. It was just him, his normal self, but I felt something. I didn't feel like, of course, he was going to hit me or attack me. I'm like, you're too calm, or it's just something not right. So, one thing led to another, and my face, he punched me in my face, and some other things that, unfortunately I can't go into details. And it took me to look at myself, and I'm like, wait a minute. This not me. I don't have children, but I have nieces. And the thing is, when you're going through something, it's just not about you. And I can't never, like, that's okay. Like, and it's not okay. So when I looked in the mirror, well, I take that back. When I see my reflection before I looked in the mirror.
Caller, we've got you on hold. Give us 1 minute and we'll get right to you.
Oh, I could finish?
Yep.
Oh. And I was like, you know what? Like, a lot of women or even young girls, like, they be like, oh, he didn't mean to, or it wasn't like that. Like, if you look at yourself and you not looking like you, he meant to. Anytime somebody raised their hand, and you got to understand the strength behind a man, hit, slap, or anything, like, yeah, he meant that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't proceed with it. And it's like, it's not just about you. Like, if you don't end it right here, it can happen to the next person. Unfortunately, the young youth is going to see that. Like, I can't allow my nieces to see me and I didn't do anything. That's how you get your power back. And like,
yes, I totally agree. We're going to interject because this is so good, and I'm so proud of you. Facebook is responding. Callers are calling in. Sharon Parks on Facebook said, thank God that you're still here, that you are well, and that you still give honor to God despite the past circumstance. Stay on the path.
I appreciate that.
Yes, and so we've got a caller on the line. Caller, who do we have with us today?
Hey, bless you, Officer Shaw. This is Bishop Eric Lloyd.
Bishop Lloyd.
Hey, Bishop.
Bishop Lloyd, so glad to have you. Go right ahead, sir.
Bless you. That's one of our spiritual daughters on the air with you, Sister Jones. Lady Lloyd and I are so proud of her. We actually lived through this situation with her. And, you know, it makes me think about women testifying about how, you know, a man that was abusive pushed them into the arms of another man. But in her case, this situation pushed her closer to God.
Yes.
And shortly after this experience, she was baptized with the Holy Ghost with the evidence of speaking in other tongues.
Yes.
And God gave her a level of boldness that she didn't have.
Yes.
So Romans 8:28 says all things work together for the good. It didn't feel good. It doesn't even seem good, but somehow God got the good out of this situation. Amen. And a few weeks later, I'm talking about it's only been a short period of time. Look at her now on the drop zone, giving her testimony.
Yes.
Because we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the words of our testimony. And recently I allowed her to testify during one of our services, and people thought she was used to the microphone because she got up and spoke with boldness, but that's the Holy Ghost that's on the inside of her.
Absolutely.
The anointing gives us the ability to do things that we normally wouldn't do within ourselves. So she's definitely anointed, and God is using her to minister to the young people. And all I can say is, woman of God, keep up the good work, stay encouraged, because the best is yet to come in Jesus' name.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. And I appreciate y'all so much, like Rhema.
We thank you so much, Bishop Lloyd, for chiming in, you and Lady Lloyd. We thank you for what you guys do in the community. If you guys don't know Bishop Lloyd, he is the owner and supporter of the Drop Zone. He's the owner of Rhema Television Network, he and Lady Lloyd, and we thank you so much. And the pastor to this young lady here that's with us today. So we're going to continue in our interview. Thanks again, Bishop Lloyd, for calling in. If you guys want to call in, give encouraging words, or ask questions, you can do that at 313-266-2811.
Or you can drop comments in the Facebook feed. We are monitoring it.
Hey, we tell you guys one more time, shoot on over. Those of you that are on my page, thank you so much for tuning in. Mashiba and Chiron and Phil, all you guys and the rest of you, go on over to the Drop Zone. Demetria, go over to the Drop Zone's Facebook page. That way you can see our guests, you can hear the caller, and you can see everyone that's here. You can even hear the comments and so forth that come up. So shoot on over to the Drop Zone so you can get the full effect of today's exclusive interview. Okay. I love you guys. So go right on. You were sharing your appreciation to your pastor and things that happen. I want to ask you something though. Let me say this. So you said a couple of things, and my partner can chime in whenever you're ready. You said that this was an ordinary day. Mm-hmm. Okay. And this person showed up. You didn't expect them to show up here. Y'all know she used the term, he pulled up. So that means you wasn't really invited.
Right.
Perhaps you wasn't invited. Okay. But he pulled up, and you guys commenced to have some communication. It escalated, and he became physically abusive towards you. And this was in broad daylight. Mm-hmm. In broad daylight with people watching.
I want to chime in on that. Like, and I said this at my church as well. It's so many men ignoring all the wrong things. Like, what happened to men protecting us? I understand safety and things can get crazy in this world. You know, of course, I observe the scene and the situation. But if you know you can de-escalate something before it happened, or at least step in and say, hey, you don't watch nothing like that happen.
Yeah.
And it's so much going on in the world because we are not protected like we supposed to be. And another thing that I had said in the church, I was telling women to say, I am a woman. I will be feminine and I will let my guard down to allow God to lead. And I say that because we have so much that's like against us. Like, even like, I'm not a mom, but I see a lot of single moms in situations to where we get that, I don't want to say like we become a man, but we shouldn't have to carry that.
Yeah.
So, and the reason why I say that is because when you allow God to lead, you can let your guard down. And it took for me to go to church and just praying, and that wasn't enough for me. So I started to go to Bible study. And then I started to get closer to my pastor and my first lady, because that's very important. Like, that's my home. And I feel like that's a safe place, and I really like appreciate them because, you know, unfortunately, that's not everybody's story within the church. So I'm so grateful for them. I appreciate them. I appreciate anybody that was here for me in this situation. It was very few, but it was enough.
Yeah.
And it was like when it happened, a lot of people don't know. I feel like I was under a spiritual attack before this happened. I want to say maybe a month and a half or longer. Like right after this situation happened, it was just like it ended. Yeah. And this is like the lowest moment in my life, but it didn't feel like that. And I remember before this happened to me, I was praying to God like, I used to be angry, you know, and that's once again due to a lot of childhood trauma, you know, like I wouldn't bother people. But of course, you know, if you did something to me, you're going to react. But that's too much control to give people. And I was just like, God, I don't want that no more. A lot of things I was praying off my life, and in this moment, God, everything I prayed for, he showed me. And it's so crazy. I felt peace. Like even the days, like 3 days straight, I was just crying for so many things. But I felt like I was okay. And it was just like God wanted me to be by myself. Yeah. And I just want to say I appreciate everybody who turned their back on me, because y'all wasn't supposed to go with me in this new season anyway. So
wait a minute. Yes, wait a minute. She said...
Yeah, I'm about to.
She said,
listen, I'm gonna say
go
it
ahead,
too.
partner. Go ahead.
I'm glad whoever turned their back on me turned, because you wasn't meant to be with me on this new season. I'm glad you turned. You turned.
Listen.
I like that.
That was powerful. That was powerful. So God has really, it sounds like that God has really, as Bishop said, he's really taken something that was meant to break you, and a weapon that was really formed against you, literally. He turned it and made sure it did not prosper, and he used what happened to you to work together for your good. Do you know that today, that the story you're telling is not just being heard in Michigan, but it's also being heard in Cincinnati. It's also being heard in Kentucky. It's being heard in Phoenix, Arizona. And it's going to air in how many?
3.9.
3.9 million homes. So you are affecting lives everywhere by telling your story. So we know that, it's just oozing out of her. You know, all of this goodness that God is putting in her is just oozing out of her. And I am so excited about her story and what she's saying. Those of you who are just tuning in, our special guest, Miss Matoya Jones, is sharing about being physically attacked by a gentleman she was in a relationship with, to the point, and I don't think she said this, but she wound up hospitalized, and she wound up for several days after not even having the proper brain capacity. She would feel lightheaded and dizzy. And so she suffered from some after effects of physical abuse. And She's just sharing some important news with women everywhere. She's talking to our young people, speaking directly to you and saying, you don't have to deal with this. You don't have to. And she talked about childhood trauma. Now let's pause here because we really take trauma very seriously here on the show. We know that trauma is something real, and trauma, you never know really how much trauma you have until something happens to trigger it. Mm-hmm. And when that happens and you respond, somebody wounds up dealing with something or having to suffer from something that someone did years ago to you. Someone in your present can wound up suffering from something that someone did years ago. So if the gentleman you were with and you knew he suffered from childhood trauma, and whatever triggers he had, may or may not have had, that caused him to attack you in such a way, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. We encourage you guys to get help. Contact the support room, 24-hour crisis hotline. We have licensed psychologists and psychiatrists that can help you, unpack some of this stuff so that you don't wound up losing your freedom. Because as we said, this is an ongoing investigation right now, and this person can very well wound up put away for many years. And so we want you guys to make sure if you are seeing signs of anger, you're seeing signs of aggression, and I'm talking to the aggressor right now. Mm-hmm. So if you're seeing signs of this, take a minute and gather yourself and then get some help, because this is going to cost you more than you can afford to pay if you act out on this. Chief, you have any words?
Yes, and I think before we go to commercial about the support room, I just want to say, I see this all the time. In my line of work, I see it all the time. People on Facebook, they chiming up, and thank you all for the encouraging words. But listen, I'm so happy that this young lady had the strength to walk away.
Yes.
The strength, because 9 times out of 10, normally you see it with not single mothers, but women with children.
Yes.
And the first thing out of their mouth is, who's going to take care of me and these kids? Who's going to take care of me? Who's going to help me? Where you talking about don't stay with him, but he taking care of the bills. He's doing this. But that does not mean you have to stay in that. There is help for you. There are people that will help you and your babies. You don't have to stay in that. I'm so glad that she had the strength to say, "No, I'm good, bro. I'm good."
That is powerful. You bring out a very important part that people stay for all kind of crazy reasons. My mama like him, my daddy like him, my kids have accepted him. I don't want to put them through the trauma of now bringing in somebody different or him leaving. But listen, we say on every show, you got to keep the main thing the main thing. And you've got to make sure you protect yourself. Then you have an obligation to those children to make sure you keep them in a healthy environment. I want you guys to take a listen to the support room and make sure you take down the contact numbers to get involved. We'll be right back after this commercial break. My name is Felicia Shaw, owner and CEO of the Support Room. The Support Room is a culmination of small support groups geared to help people cope with trauma. In this day in society, places like the Support Room is needed, mostly because most people suffer from trauma caused years ago. But if we provide a safe space for them to be able to talk about the things that they maybe have suppressed or things that they're facing on a day-to-day basis, I believe we'll have a stronger and better society. The Support Room is partnered with wonderful partners throughout the metropolitan area, mostly psychologists and psychiatrists that provide what we call PACT, P-A-C-T, professional aftercare treatment for those that attend our support room but need additional services for their care. You can get in touch with myself or the support room by simply calling our 24-hour hotline. That number is 248-894-9627. Again, that's 248-894-9627. Or you can look us up on the web. You can find us at www.thesupportroom.org.
We're also on Facebook. Just search The Support Room, like and share.
All right, thank you all. Thank you all. Listen, we back from commercial break. Listen, I want to just reiterate something. So those of you who are watching on simplypodcasting.com or watching on Facebook or whatever, we got a bunch of delays going on, okay? So you got, if you're on the personal Facebook page, if you're on simplypodcasting.com, the DropZone Facebook page, we got some delays going on. But just hang tight. Don't log off. Y'all doing real good. We're going to get through this together, okay? So on Facebook, we got Sister Ruth that says that you don't have to be a victim, and that is so true. You do not have to be a victim. I think a lot of people just allow themselves to be victims, you know?
Yeah.
And then sometimes somebody else said that you enter into a situation and you don't know how to get out of the situation. And I do believe that is true, but that's why you have people like the Drop Zone, people like the Support Room, people that specialize in helping people get out of these situations.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you have entered into a place or you find yourself in a place, because I can't imagine anyone entering into a domestic violence situation with excitement.
Exactly.
Or on purpose. Okay.
And Sister Elvira says, thank God you are okay. Talking to our Sister Jones. Thank God you are okay. And talking about this, she says, this is my God. She said, God bless you. It's really touching her heart.
Yeah. So if you find yourself in a situation like this, the very first thing you have to do is you have to admit to yourself that this is an unhealthy, unsafe environment for me. This is an unhealthy, unsafe relationship for me. Because if you're in denial, you will never get out. If you're in denial, if you can't accept and understand and identify that this is a problem, you will never seek a solution. So you've got to identify and accept that this is where I am, but know that this is not where you have to stay. Okay. The second thing I would recommend is, I tell people this all the time, when getting out of domestic situations, it is a matter of strategy. You have to strategize. You have to take a moment and think, because rash movements and rash behavior can also cost you your life. Okay. Sometimes people say, well, next time he do, I'm just going to fight him back. I'm just going to fight. No.
Can I chime in?
Yes, please.
We don't want to talk about the next time, because you may not have a next time with your life. So don't play with it.
Absolutely.
I want to say something, and I know this from God. So let me tell y'all something. Like last night, I felt real sick. Like everything tried to stop me from coming here. Like I sat there for hours. I couldn't get right. And I'm like, when I get like that, that's when I keep pressing, because I know God, he want me to tell y'all something. So I want to say this to y'all. A lot of us, including myself, like, we be feeling like we alone and, oh, I need my friend or man or a girl. You're not alone. God just separating you. And you're just not ready for that. But you got to remember, you know how you pray and you ask God for something. He may not give it to you how you want it. But when it come, you be like, wait, I prayed for that. Wait, let's go back. And that was kind of my story. I prayed for a lot of stuff. It didn't happen exactly how I wanted to happen, but it happened how I needed to happen. And I want to say this to y'all, like, put those phones down. Stop calling your go-to people, your homegirls, your homeboys. Stop running from your problems, going to wherever that suits you, the parties, the clubs, or whatever. It don't even have to be that. Really sit and talk to God. So how I started, I'm going to be honest, I didn't know, like, oh, the perfect prayer. I dropped to my knees. I stopped saying cute little prayers. Oh, thank you, Jesus. No. Sometimes it takes more than like, drop to your knees, cry, let it out. God, heal me from my head to my toe, my heart to my soul. Like, I need you. And sometimes it just be so much, you just don't know, like, what to say or where to start. That's how you start. Like, I encourage y'all to get closer to God. Like,
yes,
it's it's so powerful. Like right now is the time to really get closer to God. Like if y'all look at what's going on in the world, they're not playing fair. But when you go to God, it's different. And I'm just so thankful that God never took his hands off of me. Like I wasn't always here. I was a mess too. But my prayers, he answered them, and he answered them like right on time when I needed the most. And I'm just so thankful that I wasn't angry. I didn't let this get the best of me. I'm just so grateful that I didn't get depressed. I had moments to where the devil tried it. But God, like, no, you got a voice, and it's just not for me. I'm not just doing this for me. I'm doing this for y'all. Because there's some people out there that's scared. They're afraid. You don't have to be embarrassed because what somebody did to you. That was a choice and a decision they chose to do. It's not your fault. Don't never blame yourself. You can get out. The first thing to do when you don't know when to get out is what I said. Just drop to your knees before you do anything. And once again, if you allow them to get away, it's going to happen to somebody else's daughter. Maybe yours, or the next time somebody can actually not make it out. So I just really encourage y'all. It's like it's time for us to stop playing with our lives and take accountability for us. And like we know, I'm at a point in my life like I know where it's time for me to get right, you know, and it's just like I tried it my way so many times and it did not work. So take a chance on God, a full chance, not the little cute, like I said, the cute prayer. Like go all in, give it a full shot. I'm telling y'all, I'm here today to tell y'all, like, God, he working and he moving. Everything is moving. Stop being stuck. Yes. Go out and pursue your dreams. Walk into your purpose. Like, I have not always been here. And so it was like, even when this was happening, I didn't look like myself. I'm like, I can't stop right here. Somebody needs to hear this. Like, right. You can reset and restart as many times as you need to. When you mess up, don't beat yourself down. The world does that enough. Where you messed up at, you pick up right there and you keep going. You don't need to go all the way back to restart and now you confused. Now you don't know where to go. Right in that moment when you mess up, okay, take accountability. I messed up. Let me move forward in my life. It's so much in the world, so much that we can do. Like, and we be sleeping on ourselves a lot. Yeah. I slept on me for a long time.
That's interesting that you say that, because sometimes when you're in these situations, they will make you depressed. You'll be depressed. We have some people that become suicidal and all kind of things like that because they just don't feel that self-worth. They don't feel like they are somebody. And so they look to the abusers as the ones to validate them. So how is it that you gain the strength to know this person doesn't make me who I am?
So I've been depressed before I've been down, and I know what it feels like. So why would I go back? So it's just like we have all been, sometimes you got to go back and remember the times that God have got you out of a situation, because sometimes we forget. And when he take us out, we don't pray the same, we don't move the same. But no, that's when you really get heavy in your prayer, like, hold on. And you appreciate and you thank God even more. Yeah. So for me, where I got the strength from not to go back, because I've been there before, it didn't get better. So looking at myself and seeing this is not me, like, it's only going to get worse. And that's usually the story. And you don't have to, and to be honest, like, when you love somebody, it don't go away overnight. So I'm not about to sit here and say, oh, I don't love them. And it's just no, because I'm still going through it. I'm human. I still feel it. Yes, I love him, but I don't love him more than me. If a person puts you in a position to choose between you or them, they going to lose every time. And that's what you tell yourself, like, no, why? I shouldn't have to break myself down to build you up. That's a problem. And I have not always been right here. It was God.
We have a lot of ladies. And let us say, too, we're talking to men and women, okay? Because we have, working in the police force, my partner and I, there are men that get domestically abused.
Yeah.
They get physically abused, mentally abused. Get this one, emotionally and psychologically abused.
Yes.
Where women play with the minds of men.
Yes.
And that is not a good thing. It's not a good thing. And I say this, people say, which abuse is worse than the other? Abuse is abuse, and they're all collectively bad. Mm-hmm. Because if he didn't hit you and kill you, he can apply enough distress to you to make you want to kill yourself.
And just to add some information, and I know a lot of people may not agree, but men are emotionally and mentally abused 90% of the time in relationships.
Wow.
It's just that men are geared / taught to suppress it because, one, we don't want to look soft in the eyes of our women. Mm-hmm. We don't want to be called soft by our women. And because we're men.
Yeah.
So we accept it, we take it, and which is why you end up getting a man that you don't get a whole man. You start to get a half of a man. Wow. Because we're suppressing all of the things that we probably should be talking about, but we don't. We don't say anything because we are in fear of how it will make us look in the eyes of our women.
Wow, that's crazy. But it is real talk. It is for real. We get men that, and he talked about suppressing, men that hold it in. And get this, men have been taught all their lives, you don't cry. Mm-hmm. You don't dry your tears up. You don't. When God gave you those ducts in your eyes for tears to flow out of, okay? And so men take the original emotion of being hurt when a situation happens in a relationship and they feel hurt. They take it and when it's mixed with pride, it turns out to be, it comes out as anger, because when they want to say, oh, you hurt me, or that hurt my feelings, they translate that differently so that there's no judgment on their manhood, and it comes out as anger. And anger, unkept or uncontrolled, turns into some form of physical abuse. Physical abuse or some form of abuse. Physical, mental, psychological, verbal. You know, they start cursing you out or what have you. Men and women, okay? Exactly. Men and women. We have a problem that needs to be addressed, y'all, okay? So the first thing I have to go back and say is, when you know of someone or yourself that have some issues that are not dealt with, get help. Get help. Get help. I talk about this in our support room. The young man that shot up the school in Boston and so forth. The young man said that he did it because he had been bullied. He's an 18-year-old young man. And here he is shooting up children for something. I don't think at 18 he's still in school.
No, he wasn't. Okay.
So he's been bullied perhaps, okay? Perhaps for many years, but he didn't get the help he needed to get, or the help he needed to get. There was no consistency or what have you, where there was a positive result. So in turn, there was a negative reaction. And now many lives are lost because of it. Get help. I was saying before Ms. Jones interjected that you have to strategize when you're in a domestic violence situation. And the first thing I would say is make a call to a local shelter or a local agency near you. Try to find out what the terms are for you to be able to get overnight stay, or with a family member. A lot of times I try to get you, I'll advise you to connect with someone that's not in your local area. If you've been in a relationship for a long time, he probably know your sisters, your brothers, and all that. And so he know that you're probably going to flee to one of them. But you want to get gone. You want to get ghost, okay? You don't want him knowing where you're going to be. So you have to think this thing through. So go ahead and make preparations in your mind. Do not write it down on paper, because you may leave it at home. Okay, so you have to strategize, and you have to think about who or where you can go that's far away. There was a young lady that was in a domestic violence abuse, and she was going through the steps to get out, and we set her up with a shelter in another state, in a whole nother state. You have to let that time go, and you got to be willing. If you're going to change your life, you got to change. If you got to let your employer know, hey, I'm in a situation. Can you help see if there's a company like yours in another state where I can just be transferred? My employment can be transferred to another facility. Okay, or many miles away, 2 hours, 3 hours away, where I can be transferred to another facility. You have to strategize your move. And then when you make a decision, you have to commit to the change. This is your life. You can contact the support room. We try to set you up with care packages. We call them escape packages, and it's got gas cards and all that in it so that you can escape and get to where you need to be. Okay, it may have a few food items in there, sanitary napkins. So if you leave during the night, you got somewhere you can go, or you got something to get you something to eat and so forth. All right. So you can't just call us and say, hey, I'm leaving. Can I get a care package? No, there's going to be some things you have to present so that we know that this is what you've committed to, and we know where you're going, and we've already spoken with them, and they know you're coming and so forth. Okay. So strategize, put the plan in your mind and put it together. Make it make sense, especially if you have children. Let the children's school know. Go ahead and set the children up in a school in another location. Call that school and let them know you'll be coming. Okay? Your life does not have to fall apart. You're transitioning to something else, but everything can be a little smooth if you go ahead and take the steps now. All right. Do not let him know that's where I'm leaving and I'm moving to Ohio. Mm-hmm. Baby, that's not the right way to do it. Okay. Because guess who's going to be in Ohio when you get there? Or guess who may not let you make it to Ohio?
So Minister Darlene Howard, she's just chimed in. She said that's what she had to do. She left the state.
Yes. Yes.
But she got out.
She got out. She got out, and we are glad that you did. Listen, you guys have been tuned in to the Drop Zone. We've got so much more. We may have to do a part 2 with our special guest. We have run out of time, but listen, we are going to play this commercial for you one more time because we want you to know there is a place you can connect to come and get the help that you need. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
And if it's not you, pass it on.
My name is Felicia Shaw, owner and CEO of The Support Room. The Support Room is a culmination of small support groups geared to help people cope with trauma. In this day in society, places like The Support Room is needed, mostly because most people suffer from trauma caused years ago. But if we provide a safe space for them to be able to talk about the things that they maybe have suppressed or things that they're facing on a day-to-day basis, I believe we'll have a stronger and a better society. The Support Room is partnered with wonderful partners throughout the metropolitan area, mostly psychologists and psychiatrists that provide what we call PACT, P-A-C-T, professional aftercare treatment for those that attend our support room but need additional services for their care. You can get in touch with myself or the support room by simply calling our 24-hour hotline. That number is 248-894-9627. Again, that's 248-894-9627. Or you can look us up on the web. You can find us at www.thesupportroom.org. We're also on Facebook. Just search The Support Room, like and share. Hey
guys. So again, make sure that you connect to the support room so that you can get the help that you need, or refer somebody over to the support room so they can get the help that they need. Again, we have been interviewing and talking to Miss Matoya Jones, who is a survivor of domestic abuse. And when I tell you she dropped some powerful stuff in this place today, it has just been an awesome experience. I want you guys to continue to encourage her, continue to look at this and share it with other people, and share your positive comments so that she can look at this as she starts her journey and going out and advocating for domestic violence and sexual assault and so forth. So she can go out in the community and share. Everybody needs somebody behind them pushing them. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you guys share your compliments with her as well. We're getting ready to get out of here, but y'all, as you know, you've been tuned in to the Drop Zone. And before we go, we're going to let you see this commercial talking about our personal self-defense classes from none other than our one and only Dave Wilborn. So you guys keep it safe, and remember to keep the main thing, and the main thing is always you.
Hello, I'm David Wilborn, president and owner of DNL Security Personal Protection, where we specialize in all aspects of security: private investigations, armed security, church security, and CPO training. But the thing that sets me aside from the rest is church security. You don't necessarily have to have an officer in the house. Some churches don't feel comfortable with that. But what I can do is I could come in and do a security consultation. I can give you a plan of action that will make you feel comfortable. Also, I specialize in CPO training. The one thing that I do that no other security company is doing right now, I offer in-class and I offer virtual training. That's right, you don't necessarily have to be in class. During COVID-19, everybody doesn't feel comfortable with that. So contact me, David Wilborn. My phone number is 248-506-8294. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, my website, dlsecurity.org.
Thank you for listening to The Drop Zone with your host,
Felicia Shaw, CEO of the Support Room, and David Wilborn, CEO of DNL Security.
The Drop Zone was designed to help you gain knowledge about your safety and well-being as we inform and educate you about things concerning domestic violence.
Tune in again next week for another episode of
The Drop Zone.